show about life, sports, drink, and frankly, whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Damn, that's good.
That's tasty.
That is very tasty.
Yeah.
What are we drinking today?
Bourbon County. This is their 2021 barrel.
Okay.
I got this over the summer at a silent auction.
And who makes it?
That is Goose Island out of Chicago.
Fantastic.
312 is probably their most well-known beer.
Okay.
That's where they started.
Okay.
But, yep, so the one right here on the left.
The one that's actually open.
It's open. It's going to be the 2021. The 4 bottles to the right are the 2022.
Fantastic.
Only comes out in Fort Wayne, at least. I don't know about other cities.
Mm-hmm.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Black Friday.
Okay.
This year they did a little different. It was weird. So they put normally it's all they have it all at all the locations. Belmont
Beverage.
This year they did it at the Southwest one only.
Oh.
On Friday.
Okay.
And then whatever was left over they distributed
it. Okay.
So
that's why we picked it up later that week.
We picked it up the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, today's topic that we're going to cover is the National Football League. Right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the evolution of the football league.
A little bit, yeah. Or more of the quarterback evolution.
I think so.
Anything else?
I think so.
But yeah.
And starting is again, for me, I didn't play football. I grew up, I watched football with Dad. I remember watching the 85 Bears, the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yep.
But I never played it. I never really got into, really got into football until I got to college.
Yeah, I played football. I played PAL football.
Okay.
From 9 to 11. PAL football, for those of you who don't know, is basically Pop Warner. Just Police Athletic League is what PAL stands for. I started playing when I was 9, so it's at 93. Yeah, the fall of 93.
You're asking me to do math.
Yeah, no.
Too late. I did that all day.
Yep, so I played that for 3 years, and then I jumped into middle school football.
And what team did you play for?
The 49ers.
And who was the coach of that team?
Tiny.
Dennis Tiny Parker, plug out to you. Still working at Fort Wayne's famous Coney Island.
He is, yes.
Man's a beast. So if you're watching this, you get a chance to go down and say hi to Tiny. We love him. So.
And Tiny's not tiny, for those of you who are going to walk in the door.
No, Tiny was a lineman. I think he played both sides of the ball at Northside High School. He was class of 71. I believe.
Sounds about right. I was going to say somewhere between 68 and 72.
Yep. I'm pretty sure. I think my mom was 75, my uncle was 73, and Tiny was 2 years older than my uncle. So,
okay.
Love. He was a great coach. He coached my brother in PAL football.
Your brother played for the 49ers?
He did. He played.
He had to play at the same time I did then.
He might have.
Well, we're the same age. That's funny. I did not know that.
Yes, he was on that team with you apparently.
Yeah.
And as the story goes from Tiny, he had to put on my brother's shoes left and right, an L and an R, so that when they told him which direction to go, he knew which way to go.
That's funny. I did not. I'm going to talk to Bob about that.
Yeah.
Because I'll dig out some old pictures.
Oh, that's going to be funny.
Yeah.
That may be for another episode.
Because I definitely, we're both the same age. We're both 38. And
yep.
If he played for Tiny, I played for Tiny. We had to play for the same team.
I was going to say, you're, I think, 2 weeks apart. He was born in June, the end of June, and you were the beginning of June of 84.
Correct.
So
that is freaking hilarious.
Wow, I never put those together.
Neither did I. We've been friends for
a long time. A long time.
20-some years? 24, 25 years?
Yeah, go back to episode 1 so
you
can figure that out. We already did that.
You're asking me to do math.
Exactly. Well, did you ever play quarterback?
Actually, yes. So I actually played quarterback all 3 years that I played it for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 6th grade, I jumped to my school team.
Okay.
I didn't play quarterback for the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I played at a Catholic school, 5th and 6th grade.
Okay.
And because it was my first year, I kind of was left behind a little bit.
Yeah.
Because,
they had played together.
Yeah,
that's the core, yeah.
Yeah, well, in 5th and 6th grade, the 5th graders themselves get to play 3 games a year.
Okay.
And we got to bring down any 6th graders that didn't get a lot of playing time.
Mm-hmm.
So I vividly remember I ended up being the backup quarterback because I said, Coach, I can play quarterback in the 5th grade game if you need it because I played the last 3 years as quarterback. We played at St. Vincent's.
Okay.
Opening kickoff, I was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I was quick.
Yeah.
This is many, many years ago.
Yeah, you were scrawny.
Tiny.
So were you the original RPO guy?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Because they put me on kick return.
Oh, Jesus.
First play of the game, I housed it.
So you had to throw the ball.
I didn't have to. I just ran the ball.
Okay.
Housed it. Then a 2-point conversion. We did play action for 2 points.
Okay.
I'll never forget though when I was 11 playing PAL football. We had this kid on our team, Dylan. He went to Carroll. His last name's Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Diller, Trent Diller.
Okay.
Phenomenal athlete.
Trent Dilfer?
No, Trent Diller.
Okay.
Here in Fort Wayne. All we did was hand him the ball. He ran between the guards, 8 yards without fail, 8 yards every single time. Every single time. Kid was a beast.
Sounds like a...
He should have been a black striper, so he should have, but he was just under the weight limit when he checked in, so he got to be a ball carrier. Well, I went up to the coach and I'm like, Coach, I want to score a touchdown. They're not covering the flank after we hand the ball off. Mm-hmm. He goes, okay, fake it and take it to the house. So I called it. Called my own number. Mm-hmm. Coach let me do it. Tiny said, do it. So I faked it to Diller.
Yep.
Up on the left side, and I booted out right.
Yep.
15 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
At Northwood Middle School, where you went to school.
At Northwood. Loving it.
But then eventually, so at that point at St. Jude, I had 2 touchdown passes that game. So from there, they're like, oh, well, you're a quarterback now. So then I started the rest of the 6th grade year.
Okay.
Went into 7th grade, played behind Kyle Lindsay, who was at Lures.
Okay.
4-year starter on varsity, played college baseball at Dayton. His dad was the coach at Lures.
I think he was an AD at one point.
Yeah.
Lindsay, yeah.
So Kyle is now the coach at Lures.
Oh.
Still good friends with Kyle.
Awesome.
But so I sat behind him in 7th grade, got 2 snaps.
Okay.
And then 8th grade year, quarterback the whole way. So
awesome.
And then went into high school. I didn't really want to play football. I wanted to play basketball and baseball.
Okay.
But Mom called me and said, "Hey, you need to go get pads today, because if you want to play baseball or basketball at Dwenger, they prefer you to play a fall sport and keep rolling it into it so you're conditioned." So I was like, all right, whatever. And I was a DB and kickoff team. I wasn't quarterback at that point.
Yeah.
So, but for the first 5 years of my football career, I was quarterback.
Okay, awesome. So, what do you think of these quarterbacks now? I mean, when we watched, I shouldn't say before we watched the beginning of the NFL. The quarterback handed the ball as a running game. Yep. Everything was running game. Then they came up with this thing called the forward pass, right?
Yep.
And for much of our generation, at least, and before, that was your traditional quarterback was 6'3", 220 pounds, drop back, throw the ball. Right.
The quarterbacks that I really remember from my childhood would have been Steve Young, lefty, Troy Aikman.
Okay.
Outside of those two, I don't really remember a whole lot of the quarterbacks. I mean, that was Jim Harbaugh era.
Okay.
So Jim Harbaugh played for 4 teams, at least 4. I know he played for the Chargers, the Bears. Maybe it was just 3: Chargers, Bears, Colts. I don't know if he played for another team. I know he played for those 3.
Okay.
But those are the 3 quarterbacks that I really remember. Cordell Stewart was...
Now, see, that's a different mold.
I was going to say that he came in as a receiver and then transitioned to quarterback. And then I think he was... I will say that that's about the time the tide started to turn to the RPO.
So, Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham, phenomenal quarterback. He was a quarterback before... He played before his time.
He did.
So...
Yep.
But you could say that about Warren Moon, too.
Agreed. But if you look at those two specifically, because I can remember watching those two play, they ran when they had to.
Right.
They were that unique athlete that was playing quarterback instead of a running quarterback.
So who would you say the first quarterback was that was
that I can remember
50-50 split where it was...
Michael Vick.
Okay. Well, Steve Young was... very, very mobile, but again, he ran when he had to.
Elway was athletic and mobile early in his career as well.
When they were orange and white and royal blue.
But again, those guys were for me, I remember Michael Vick running a lot more than an average quarterback ran. It wasn't a scramble and I'm being pursued and I can scramble and get yards. It was a designed run, or it was I looked through 1 or 2 progressions and now I'm taking off.
He would try to move the pocket to the boundary, and then if he didn't see it in a couple seconds, he was gone.
Yes, and he had the skill to do it.
Not only did he have the skill to do it, but he also had the arm to create that space for him to gain 15, 20, 25 yards.
Yes.
Because a lot of these quarterbacks then
Mm-hmm.
couldn't throw on the run. They weren't as athletic to throw on the run.
And he was.
And he could throw the damn ball 75 yards
on the run.
He was very, very, very good.
Yeah.
I loved watching him play. Virginia Tech grad.
Yep.
Played for, I think it was just the Lion. No,
Falcons.
The Falcons. Then the Eagles.
I think that was after the incident.
Yes, yeah. But then I think he played for the Jets for a year.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I'm only remembering the Falcons version,
yes,
because that was and we see that evolution, and now I feel like there's way too many quarterbacks that want to run first. I think it starts in high school. Maybe even younger, but it starts in high school because typically your quarterback is one of the most athletic people on the team. Correct. At those ages.
Correct, absolutely.
Right? It's like the same kid that's playing shortstop in baseball. Yeah. He's probably your most gifted athlete, whether or not he's really a good shortstop or not. It's just he's the best athlete.
And the problem with that, at least in our time, before we had all the 7-on-7s, before we had all the extra passing drills and all this other stuff, is you put your best athlete at quarterback and you told him to make plays.
Yes.
You really did.
You did.
In today's world, the wide receiver is just as skilled as the quarterback. He might not be able to throw as well as the quarterback, but he can dang sure run. Yep. He can dang sure run great routes. He can jump. He can do all sorts of things. So in today's era, I think you don't see the quarterback being the number one player on the team as much as you did when we were in middle school and high school.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
So
and seeing these quarterbacks run, and now we're getting into these RPOs, these run pass options.
I hate RPOs with a passion.
Why do you hate RPOs?
Here's the thing: your offensive linemen are arguably the smartest people on the team.
Okay.
But they're trying to ward off these 300-pounders.
Yeah.
Who are
beasts in their own right.
And they're not the brightest. They're told to go get the quarterback.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're fast as hell. For as big as they are, they're fast as hell.
They've got tight end fullback speed.
Yeah.
Offensive linemen have offensive lineman speed. Well, anyway, the RPO, it's designed to either hand a ball off or throw the ball. Well, and a lot of times on these RPOs, the linemen are getting penalized for being downfield.
I agree. Yes, they are.
So in college, you get 3 yards. In the pros, you get 1 yard unless you're engaged with a lineman. Okay. Not a linebacker. It's got to be somebody who's on the line. If you're engaged blocking a lineman and you just truck him and go, they're not going to call it because you're engaged. But if you go downfield to get to the linebacker, the second tier, they're going to get you every time.
If it's a pass play.
If it's a pass play.
Yeah.
And it used to be if the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, that's not a legal man downfield.
Okay.
But now it doesn't matter. Unless it's a backwards pass. Because then it's a lateral.
It's a lateral. It's not a forward pass.
Exactly. And these quarterbacks are so talented that they're evading these DNs. And it takes them an extra 2-3 seconds to decide if they're going to throw the ball.
And your lineman's already downfield.
They're already 3 yards downfield because they're, in their head, they're taught to count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't throw the ball in 4 seconds, you're like, okay, it's a run.
Yeah.
And then they're getting penalized.
Go find the next guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's a good concept if you're running in the shotgun formation and you pull it out of the belly.
Yep.
And then you hit a tight end or a receiver on a slant route, a 5-yard in route, a 5-yard out route, because it's a quick release.
Yeah.
You get the ball, you fake it, you throw it.
That's true. I agree.
The moment you start scrambling, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because, well, I'm just going to throw this 50-yard bomb down the field to my wide open guy, but my left guard is 4 yards downfield. Oh, there's a penalty.
Yep.
So if they're gonna run it, it's a good play. But run it so that you're not going to get a penalty.
And nowadays we see a lot more quarterbacks in the shotgun formation.
Yeah.
There's a higher percentage of teams that take more than 50% of their snaps in a shotgun style formation, whether it be a shotgun or a pistol or something, versus the traditional underneath center
3-step drop, fake the handoff.
Yep.
2 more step drops, now you get a 5-step drop,
Mm-hmm.
and then figure it out from there.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, you get a better view of the whole picture in the shotgun formation because you're already 5 to 6 yards back
Yes.
You're not having to move to fake the handoff. You're just
Faking
there.
the handoff. Yep.
So you can keep your eyes wherever you need them versus, if you're running sideways or backwards,
Yes.
you can't look downfield and try to fake a handoff. It's just not going to work.
Correct.
So.
Correct. That's where fumbles happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as running quarterbacks, I don't know. You don't see many white running quarterbacks. Most of them are African American.
Yeah. Taysom, is it Taysom Hill? Tatum Hill? Whatever.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill for...
Is he really a quarterback, though?
No, I think he's designated a tight end. But when he's playing quarterback, it's more of a wildcat style.
It's a wildcat, and he's
the same thing that I think the same thing we saw with a decade ago with Tim Tebow. That was those are the two that I remember as a white quarterback that was a runner, a better runner than a passer.
Right. And I think that the skin color has nothing to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
It's just how to identify people.
Yes.
African American or white.
Correct.
But for whatever reason, it's mostly African Americans who are running quarterbacks over the last 10 to 15 years.
It is.
And I feel terrible for them because they're really skilled. They're probably more skilled than your average quarterback, but their longevity of their careers is cut down dramatically.
I mean, look at Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
He's injured right now.
Yeah.
Right? He's been hurt before in his career, right? He's probably...
Look at Robert Griffin.
Oh,
prime example. Rookie of the year. He played on a crappy field.
He was a terrible quarterback, though.
I won't say that.
I will say he should not have been drafted as high as he should. He wasn't a good quarterback.
At Baylor, he was fantastic.
He played in the Big 12.
It's an offensive league, though.
You're right. You could have done that.
No, I couldn't have done that. But again...
Yes, you could have. If you'd have played at Texas Tech, you'd have been fine. I'm pretty sure they had a half-second pass play. Like, literally, the quarterback caught it and he was already in the throwing motion.
By the time I was 15 years old, I was scared to get hit.
All right? At Texas Tech, you wouldn't have. The ball was out of the quarterback's hand before the defensive lineman could get out of his stance.
But his problem was nobody taught him to slide. That's how he got hurt, Griffin.
Yeah, I get
these
that.
Quarterbacks aren't taught to slide.
But nowadays, I see these NFL defensive players going after the quarterback.
Like,
because they want to slide at the last minute.
Did you see that when the Eagles, their only loss of the year, how that game unfolded?
No.
So Taylor Heineke's playing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's under duress.
Yep.
Instead of doing anything, he just goes to take a knee.
Mm-hmm.
One Mississippi, two Mississippi. Gets hit by two Eagles guys.
Really?
And they call the 15-yard penalty, extends the drive, and then they end up winning. But, Pat Mahomes is a perfect example of why kids should play multiple sports.
Agreed.
Because, he is the best at all the arm angles.
Yep.
He is great.
He was a hell of a shortstop.
Yeah, and he knows how to slide.
Yep.
And you see him textbook form slide.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, to save some of these quarterbacks who don't know what they're doing to slide,
put them through spring training.
Maybe not spring training, but go get a base stealer from your team. I think for the most part, every NFL team has a major league team in it. I would say
pretty close.
Indianapolis doesn't.
Yeah,
just because.
But there's
Cincinnati,
6 teams within.
Bring in whoever their base stealer is and teach these kids to slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joe Burrow didn't know how to slide his rookie year and got blown up.
Yeah.
And got hurt.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow now knows how to slide.
Yes.
But Pat Mahomes, to me, is the quintessential RPO quarterback, or I'm going to make shit happen quarterback.
He is.
But he gets down.
Obviously he plays for a conference rival. We're Colts fans, right?
They're not in the same.
They're in the same conference.
Not the same division.
They're not divisional rival. They're conference rival. And I'll say the same thing about Joe Burrow. They're conference rivals with our team.
Mm-hmm.
But I love watching those two play.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching those two play head to head because of the skills that they possess. And they're slightly different.
Right.
Burrow is more of a pocket passer.
Yeah.
But Pat Mahomes is just as good in the pocket as he is outside of the pocket.
I almost say he's better moving the pocket.
Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league when it comes to any kind of a breakdown. If anything breaks down, I want Pat Mahomes
I would
because
agree with that, 100%.
What he can do is I've never seen it in my life. I don't know if we will ever see it again because of, I think it goes back to your comment, Pat Mahomes played baseball.
Yep.
Pat Mahomes played football.
Mm-hmm.
He got drafted. There are so few players that do both of those things anymore. And the kids that are playing now don't do that. Very, very few of them.
I'm going to go with my trivia real quick on Pat Mahomes.
Okay.
I don't know if we did this for episode 2. I think we did, but I don't remember. What 2 major league sports teams has Pat Mahomes bought into and now is a co-owner of?
Major league sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would probably say something to do with soccer.
Okay.
I would say the Kansas City soccer team.
The Sporting
KC.
Yep, Sporting. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
He is a minority owner there.
I would say it also has something to do with a European league.
Nope.
No.
Baseball.
Minor league team.
Nope. Major league team.
The Royals?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
he was part
So
of the ownership.
I have a feeling because he is a co-owner of those teams that he probably stays in KC with the Chiefs for the duration of his career. It only makes sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah. And
and I would be happy to see that.
I love. Yes, I do too.
Yes.
And his dad also Major League Baseball pitcher.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Twins and Yankees are the 2 teams that I know that his dad played for. I don't know if there. I know there's more, but
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And so speaking of baseball, I normally I'm wearing my button down Hawaiian shirt, but I thought in the honor of Aaron Judge signing his 9-year, $360 million contract and staying hopefully for the rest of his career a Yankee,
so
thought I'd dress up.
Do you
with my
think
Yankee
Captain
stuff.
watched episode 2?
I sure hope so. They had it down. Like, it's funny because I was reading some reports and they had they started with the $300 million, then they had an 8-year, $320 million. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, I believe Buster Olney was the one that I read an article about. I think it was him. I'm not 100% sure on ESPN, but it basically came down to Hal Steinbrenner picking up the phone and talking to Judge and basically saying, do you want to be a Yankee?
I was going to ask you that question. I read that today.
And Aaron Judge said yes. And Steinbrenner said, what do you need? And they said a 9th year, and he said, done.
And then
that was it.
And then jumped it to 360 because it was
the
original was 320.
320, 8 years, $40 million a year.
Yep.
He said 9 years, 360, done.
Yep.
That was the deal.
Yeah.
Everything else, like nothing's been official. Judge left San Diego and went to Hawaii. Went on his 1-year anniversary trip with his wife.
Good for him.
Yeah, very good for him. And they still have to do the physical and all that, which that should be coming up any time. But
man, when he gets back,
that to me is what I want to see from some of these athletes. I want to see that of more of these athletes.
Okay.
Now I know it's a business, baseball, football.
Let's get back to the football real quick.
Okay.
And
I was circling back to that.
We are. Well, I'm kind of piggybacking off what you said.
Okay.
I actually was watching TikTok yesterday or today.
Go figure.
It's a good shitter.
I know you're a buffer. It's okay.
But they were interviewing some football players, and I think it was Shannon Sharp. Oh, it was Shannon Sharp and Michael Vick.
Okay.
And they're talking about why quarterbacks should not take top dollar.
Okay. Why should quarterbacks not take top dollar?
Because you're under a salary cap.
Yep.
And if you take more than 25% of the salary, if you eat up more than 25% of your salary cap, you're limiting your offensive line and your skilled position players.
Agreed.
And I was like, I think I talked about that once.
I think you did.
That's when I was bashing on Aaron Rodgers, episode 1.
Your buddy Aaron Rodgers?
And I tell you what, he's got all the talent in the world, but he's just a prima donna, and it's all about.
So would you say that Aaron Rodgers is one of your favorite players?
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, if we're trying to talk about favorite players, who's your favorite offensive player?
Of all time?
Of all time. But you know what? Let's put a caveat. We've been talking about quarterbacks so much. No quarterbacks.
Oh. It's got to be my boy Jerry.
The hell?
No, that's Jomo.
Oh, that's Joe Montana.
Yeah, Joe Montana's up there with, I got Joe Montana and Tom Brady. Goat 1, Goat 2.
So you went to the receiver.
I went to the receiver.
Here's
the thing. Jerry Rice did 2000s worth, as far as
the years 2000s.
Worth of work in the late 80s
and 90s.
And 90s.
Agreed.
Everybody says it's Randy Moss. Randy Moss. I'll tell you what, Randy Moss is fantastic.
Yeah.
Randy Moss is phenomenal.
Probably the number 2 receiver ever.
I would agree, but
skill-wise.
Yes, but Randy Moss played in an era where they threw the ball, especially in New England his last couple years, where they threw the ball 70% of the time.
All the time.
Jerry Rice played on the 49ers. They were run heavy. They had Ricky Watters. Ricky Watters was a phenomenal running back.
Mm-hmm.
They ran the ball all the dang time. Jerry Rice, you could throw 3 people on Jerry Rice. He's still breaking out. He's still catching the ball, and he's still going to put up 120 yards, 10 receptions, and 2 TDs. Plain and simple. Jerry Rice, my favorite offensive player. That's why I was, when I started playing for the Pal 49ers, that's why I gravitated towards the 49ers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gravitated towards Jerry Rice. He was just a stud. What about you? What you got?
For me, I'm going to go offensive line.
Okay.
Right? My boy Jeff Saturday, interim head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. I loved watching Saturday. Incredibly intelligent person. Very underappreciated athlete.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
100%.
The center. I just, if you're talking about people that we watched, there's so many talented people. There's so many people that are probably better football players than Jeff Saturday.
I would agree.
Okay? But just the way he conducted himself as a man, the way he, led his offensive line, the fact that he was able to keep somebody who had no business standing in a pocket, Peyton Manning, upright most of the time.
I'm telling you, he might be the best pocket passer
of all time.
Of all time.
I probably wouldn't argue with that.
I mean, it's him or Tom.
I agree, and I think we're going to have to do an entire episode on just those two.
I'm down, because I will wear my Brady jersey. I will take the helmet out of the case, and I'll wear my Brady helmet. Like, I'm a homer for Brady just because he went to Michigan.
I know you are.
But Peyton is up there. My top 3 are Peyton at 3, Jomo at 2, maybe 2A and 2B, and then Tom at number 1 if we're going quarterbacks. But I love Jeff Saturday. I think he's phenomenal. He's having a rough time coaching right now, but coaching's a whole different beast.
It is.
It is. My favorite Jeff Saturday moment, though, was when he played his last year playing, and he played for Green Bay at the time.
Okay.
And he went to the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
And at that point, I think Peyton Manning was with the Broncos.
Okay.
And Peyton's in the Pro Bowl, too, because Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And, it was Peyton's last drive of the Pro Bowl. Jeff Saturday, playing in the NFC, comes off the bench from the NFC, kicks the center for the AFC out of the game, and his last snap that he took was a shotgun snap to Peyton Manning in the Pro Bowl, but he was wearing green and yellow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to see. So, flipping that, I mean, obviously, defensive. Who's your favorite defensive player?
For me, on the defensive side, it was Ray Lewis.
God, that man's nasty.
He was a beast. He was a ball hawk.
Yeah.
He was intimidating.
Oh, was he ever?
And that's the thing when I think of defensive players. Now, could he play his style in the NFL today? No, I don't think so. I think he would adapt, but he wouldn't be the feared defensive leader that he was when he played. And for me, that's where I wanted to go with this, and that's what I liked about him is, when you think of, there's nobody else that really sticks in my mind, again, during the time I watched football, the NFL, that I would say is, wow. Like, if I was going to play, how would I want to play? That's how I would want to play on the field.
I agree. So, you remember Vontaze Burfict?
Yes.
For Cincinnati?
Yes.
Always in trouble for headhunting?
Yes.
I don't want to ever say Ray Lewis is a headhunter. I don't think he was a headhunter.
I don't think so. I think he just played hard.
Right, but with today's rules,
he would be a headhunter.
He would be considered a headhunter, and he would be picking up those fines. He hit you hard. He hit you in the teeth, and he made sure that you felt his presence.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
First Super Bowl MVP on the defensive side in a long time when he got it. So, but yeah. So, my favorite defensive player is making national news. He has been for the last probably 2 or 3 years as a college coach.
Okay.
Prime time. Deion Sanders.
All right.
I loved watching Deion Sanders so much. He was not only a phenomenal athlete, he was a showman, and he lets you know that he's better than you.
Yes.
It was to the point where his little touchdown celebration, whatever dance he did, I did that as a kid. In gym class, we did like butt kicks, high knees, and stuff to get warmed up. I didn't do that. I did the Deion Sanders touchdown dance. I had the Deion Sanders shoes in middle school.
Yeah.
Those were the first like signature shoe that I ever.
I think he needs to come out with another one now that he's playing for the Buffs.
Coaching for the Buffs?
I'm sorry.
I tell you what, man, I think that man is great for his philanthropic activities. What he wants to do with the kids. I've been following him on TikTok for a little over a year now. And his first meeting with the kids at Buffalo, or Colorado, got a lot of scuff because you only see 30-second clips. You don't see the whole video.
Sure.
And the 30-second clip said, if you don't, hit the transfer portal, I'm bringing my luggage. That's not what he was saying. He was saying, if you don't want to compete, get out. We are competing.
We're going to compete.
Well, the first thing he did in that meeting room is he looked at all of his players and said, there's 3 rules for meetings. No slides, no sweats, no hats.
Okay.
So no sandals.
Yep. Nope. I get it.
No hoodies, no sweatpants, and no hats. 3 kids sat and did one of these and just took their hat off right in that meeting.
Good for them.
Good for them. I mean, he is teaching them life lessons.
That's awesome.
And not just coaching them. He's coaching them and making them men.
And it's interesting to see his coaching style and see him have winning ways and know that when we watched him play, how he played, he was a showman.
Oh, absolutely.
On the field. He was skilled and talented beyond belief, but he was also a showman.
He's still a showman as a coach.
He is still a showman, but he's a showman because of his confidence level and because of what he instills in those kids to make them better.
Oh, absolutely. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So
I agree. I can't argue with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are my favorite 2. If I had to pick in today's era, I'm going to go Travis Kelce.
I love Travis Kelce. Love Travis.
He's phenomenal. He is the first tight end to ever go 7 years, 1,000 yards in 7 straight years as a tight end. He's probably my favorite offensive player right now. I don't know if I have a favorite defensive player because, in my opinion, the NFL is getting soft and making everything more advantageous for offensive people, so the defenders can't really play.
Yes.
If I had to pick one, I would probably say Shaquille Leonard for the Colts. Phenomenal middle linebacker. He reminds me a lot of Ray Lewis. He's a ball hawk. He did change his name. That's his legal name. He used for the first 5 years, dude. And I was joking with all my friends and a couple of my brother-in-law. When he became Shaq, he got hurt.
Wow.
Weird.
Sounds like another Shaq I know.
Yeah, right. But when he was Darius, he was
always on the field.
So those would probably be my favorite 2 current people that aren't quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, it's tough because I think there's so much focus on the quarterback right now.
Yeah.
I love Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. Obviously, I watch a lot of Colts games, so it's a lot easier for me to say I love the Colts. I do like the tight end position. There's several tight ends in the league that I think are underrated and really interesting to watch. And on the defensive side of the ball, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Probably Jesse Bates for the Bengals.
No, you mean no? I mean he's a Fort Wayne guy, so that's nice.
And he's a Bengals guy.
And he's a Bengals guy. It's my wife's team, so yeah. I really couldn't even pick anybody, because right now I think we're all about the touchdowns. I think we're all about the touchdowns. I think the quarterbacks lead to that, and you know what? I think that's where I'm going to go with this week's episode of What's Grinding Greeny.
All right.
Hello, welcome back to What's Grinding Greeny. This week we're going to talk about touchdowns, and for me, the rules surrounding the touchdown. Let's start with the rule about crossing the plane of the goal. I'm okay with that. That makes 100% sense to me. The ball crosses that front part of the goal, it's a touchdown. Now here's the caveat to that. We treat the receiver that's going up for the ball completely differently than we do the player diving into the end zone or going into the end zone. A couple weeks ago, I'm watching the game between the Bengals and the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes reaches across the line with one arm to get the tip of the ball across, jumping in the air, and the ball gets knocked out of his hand. Because that ball crossed, it's a touchdown. I think that's complete bullshit. If you want to cross the plane of the goal, right, you need to, and especially as a receiver, and you go airborne, go vertical, you need to maintain possession when you come down. I'm okay with taking the ball and reaching it across with two hands and then falling backwards. That's fine. That's a touchdown. I'm good with that. We're telling these receivers you have to go up and catch the ball, get 2 feet down in the end zone, right? That should stop play. You've landed with 2 feet, you've touched down, you have possession. However, if they get pushed or they go to the ground, now they have to maintain possession the whole way through. Why should it be any different for somebody that's trying to stick the ball across the goal line? And that is what's grinding Greeny.
I mean, I don't know what to say to that because
we spent 20 minutes today
I
arguing
know,
about this.
and I've been thinking about it since then. The difference between somebody who has possession of the ball diving into the end zone is they already have established possession.
Okay, but once they leave the ground,
they still have possession of the ball, though.
Correct. So again, going back to my thing, when the receiver catches the ball and touches down, he's established possession on the ground.
All right.
So either change that rule.
Okay. See, I would
get rid of the Calvin Johnson rule that we saw several years that screwed everything up.
Well, Calvin Johnson, Des Bryant,
all those guys.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
I agree with. See,
or change this.
See, the thing that.
And to me, I'd rather see this. I would rather see. I want the skill in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
The toe tap.
The toe taps are awesome.
So,
and holding onto the ball and going down. It's part of the play. Your body is doing something.
Yeah.
Same thing when I see these guys dive out with one hand for the corner of the pylon. Mm-hmm. There was somebody, they freaking dove. They dove with two hands. They literally hit the front tip of the pylon. I think the ball touched the ground out of bounds before. They reviewed it and it upheld.
Okay, here's my thing with the pylon. The pylon is not in the field of play, so if he touches the pylon with the ball's out of bounds.
But the plane of the goal line extends in perpetuity.
It goes, but
sideways and a vertical.
Okay, then they need. So what I'm getting from this is one, we need to frickin' change the rule on what a catch and what a catch isn't. That's one.
I think that's a good idea.
Number two, when Russell Wilson is running down the sideline and he extends the ball as he's running out of bounds, they always bring it back to where his feet come out of bounds.
Correct.
Like, you can't have it both ways.
Yes.
If he is out of bounds in the field of play, so, goal line to goal line, sideline to sideline.
Yep.
If he goes out of bounds at the 11, he's out of bounds at the 11.
Yeah.
If the ball crosses over the sideline and touches the pylon, which is out of bounds, it's not a touchdown to me.
I'm okay keeping that a touchdown, but you, again, have to maintain possession of the ball. If you want to lunge after that, touch that pylon to score, you better land holding on to that damn ball.
Okay, so if you're going to go that route and say you're in the back corner of the end zone and you catch the ball and you come down with two hands and then you get hit and the ball touches that pylon and then as you're falling, the ball rolls away, that technically should be counted as a touchdown, but they don't.
Agreed.
The pylon is not in the field of play, so therefore the pylon should not be a touchdown. It needs to be inside the pylon.
Okay,
you know what? I'm gonna go one more step further.
Agreed.
When you look at when somebody's kicking a field goal, and they kick it directly over the post.
Yes.
If it goes over the post, a sliver of the ball has to be inside the post to be counted good.
Correct.
Same thing applies. Some of the ball has to be on the inside of the pylon.
Agreed. And so when I say touching the pylon for a touchdown, you have to be on the inside of the pylon.
Yes.
You cannot touch the pylon on the outside. The front of the pylon. Agreed. Completely.
And they also said, there's also weird, if you're diving towards the pylon and it crosses the pylon on the right-hand side of the right, like on the outside of the pylon, touchdown. But if you're running... and you have the ball tucked like you're supposed to, and you get pushed out of bounds at the one, and it goes over the... It's not a touchdown.
Correct.
Like, Uniform rules here, people.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
No, it's
not
not.
that hard.
It's easy. 2 feet in the end zone, catching the ball.
Yes.
I don't care if I'm falling.
Yep.
If I get hit, whatever.
Yep.
Touchdown. I get where you're coming from, maintaining possession all the way through the fall. I get it. I understand it. But then you've got all those stupid things where people are celebrating, and it's like Jackson, whatever his name is, he's lost at least 8 touchdowns in his career because he's dropping the ball on the 6-inch-yard line. Like,
those are idiots, and they shouldn't get a touchdown.
you're right. So
Here's
are
the
you
thing.
saying get the ball? The ball has to 100% go in?
No, the tip of the ball has to cross while you have possession and you're on the ground.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
The guys that dive in and do the flips and all that, I'm cool with that. But when you leave your feet,
You have to maintain it all.
you need to maintain. So if you go leave in and you do a somersault, fantastic. You stop. You need to have possession of the ball.
Okay. All right.
Then you can get up and celebrate and do whatever you want. Spike the ball. What happened to the spike? Like, what happened to the spike? No one spikes a football ball anymore.
I tell you what.
I'm sorry. Tight ends spike a football. They're the only people that spike a football.
No. Tight ends and linemen,
Well, yes. If
when they're handed the ball.
correct.
Skilled position players, they don't.
And here's the thing. I'm not condoning spiking the ball.
I love the team celebrations that they're allowed to do now.
I am a big fan of scoring a touchdown and handing the ball to the referee. You know, here's the thing. In college, I was on the sidelines a lot. And one of the things Coach said is, when you score a touchdown, hand the ball to the referee.
Act like you've been there.
Act like you've been there.
The difference between, in my opinion, the difference between college and the pros on all level is, yes, it's both entertainment, but in college and below, you're playing for the love of the game, versus being a career.
Correct. And if you in college, if you have excessive celebration, what happens?
15-yard penalty.
And how do you feel about penalties?
I fucking hate with a passion how they assess penalties in the NFL. Well, in college too, but it's mainly in the NFL. Which is going to bring me to my segment, Flying High with the Goose. Welcome to this week's episode of Flying High with the Goose. What's really pissing me off the last couple of years is the assessment of penalties in football. Offensive lineman, holding, 10-yard penalty. Okay, cool, 10 yards. But what happens? They replay the frickin' down. It's 10 yards from the spot. It could be 1st and 20, it could be 1st and 12, it could be 1st and 8. That makes no sense. Spot of the ball, mark it back 10. If a defender has a penalty, it's a 5-yard holding penalty. Automatic first down. Like, how does 5 yards become an automatic first down? Tell me that. I don't understand it. Another one that really gets under my skin is pass interference. At least the assessment of the pass interference. You could be 70 yards downfield throwing a Hail Mary, defender trucks you. You get the ball 70 yards downfield. Okay, should it be a penalty? Absolutely. Is it warranted for 70? No, because you're just throwing up a shit prayer. Offensive pass interference, it's a 10-yard penalty. So on the flip side of it, Neon Dion, for some reason, has a clear shot at the ball, but yet a receiver for the Cowboys when he was playing for the Niners, Irvin, tackles him before he gets the ball. He's stopping him from making a play. Is it the right play? Probably. Loss of downs. That's a loss of down to me. You specifically tackled him so you wouldn't turn the ball over. Okay, second down becomes third down. If there's 2 penalties on a play, one's 10 yards, one's 5 yards, assess them both. Not that hard. Have people up in the review box saying whatever they need to do. Defensive penalties, 90% of them automatically result in the first down. Tell you what, if it's a 5-yard offsides and it warrants a first down, give it to them. If it's a 10 yards and it warrants a first down, give it to them. But if it's 1st and 30 and there's a defensive holding, a 10-yard or a 5-yard penalty, that's not a first down. The offensive team put themselves in a hole and they got bailed out by a crap call. The only things that need to be washed out and redone if it's the same amount. If it's a illegal shift, 5 yards on the offense. If it's offsides in the defense, 5 yards. Okay, that I understand. Wipe it out. Personal fouls, assess them both. Count the down, assess them both.
All right, I see where you're coming from, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you on something.
It's just rare.
I know, it is. But, there's too much, there's too much confusion. And the defense is penalized very heavily.
Yes.
On all of their penalties.
Everything.
With the exception of offsides, I think you're right. I think almost everything else is an automatic first down for a defensive penalty. And I hate seeing two penalties offset when it's clearly two different penalties.
Yes.
Illegal hands to the face by the offense and a offsides on the defense. That's two different areas.
100%.
Why are we offsetting those? Just because two people there's two flags, two objective or subjective human beings saw different things through the yellow, and we don't have anything happening. So
like I said, if it's a 10-yard and a 10-yard, okay, offset, replay the down. If it's a 10-yard and a 15-yard, assess them both.
Yeah,
not that hard.
No,
I think the offensive side needs more loss of downs, because right now the only two loss of downs are intentional grounding, and illegal forward pass. Those are the only two.
Yeah.
But if Tom Brady throws a 70-yard pass and he gets picked off, or has a perception of getting picked off, and Evans tackles the defender so the defender doesn't get the ball, 10 yards, loss of down.
Yeah, I agree.
Plain and simple. It's not a big. I just don't understand why. They want more offense.
They do.
I get that. They do. I want to see a more evenly matched game because I'm tired of the bailouts. It's 2 minutes left in the game. It's 3rd and 35 because they've gotten sacked. They throw up a 50-yard pass. Oh, there's a first down. And I'll be the first to admit, Tom Brady has gotten more defensive PIs called for his team.
And offsides.
Well, offsides is not necessarily a big deal because it's 5 yards and it's not an automatic first down.
Correct.
But the pass interference, he chucks the ball 40 yards downfield, hoping and praying, and he gets the call. Okay, well, now we're in field goal range, guys. Tom Brady won again.
And see, this is what happens is I think that these teams have gotten so accustomed, especially the day and age of these quarterbacks, they're so talented that they can create defensive penalties.
Oh, yeah.
We were watching a game a couple weeks ago, my wife and I, and I'm pretty sure it was a Bengals game that was on TV, and it was, like 4th and 2 or something, right? 4th and 3. And I'm sitting there watching it, and you can see a defensive player, like, leach forward and then get back. Nothing happened. And then they end up calling timeout. And I'm like, damn it. My wife's like, what's going on? I'm like, the center has one job. The center's job is to see if anyone crosses that ball, he hikes it. Period. That's all he's... If they're doing if they're trying to draw them off sides, it's not on the quarterback.
No.
It's 100% on the center.
Yeah.
The center's job is to pay attention to those linemen. If somebody comes across, he hikes the ball. The quarterback's job is to be ready to receive that ball in a split second, and just even if it's throwing it away or rolling.
Peyton Manning is the only quarterback I've ever known to hear that he did not like Saturday doing that.
I get it because Peyton was better than every other quarterback at getting somebody to jump off sides. There's been nobody better in the league. Maybe Tom. That's it. Those two are so far above every other quarterback.
I agree.
Favre is... not Favre. Rodgers is dumbass. He's close. He's the next level.
Yeah.
Right? He's the next level. So,
I just want to see better, more evenly called penalties as far as the assessment of penalties.
I agree.
I think that, they need to add probably 3 or 4 that are a loss of down. And I would say that you cap pass interference at 25 yards.
I'm more inclined to go with the college.
15.
15 and 15.
Yeah.
15 backwards, 15 forwards. Maybe you go 25 forwards on a defensive pass interference if you take a loss of down on the offensive pass interference. I'm okay with doing that.
Right.
25 yards, automatic first down.
But
15
again,
yards,
no,
loss
I'm
of
not
down.
going to say I hate automatic first downs.
No. If there's pass interference, I want the automatic first down.
But
I want it to deter the defender from just making that play so that they don't.
That's
so they give up
a fair point. I didn't look at it from that point of view. I like it, so I agree with it.
You know what I mean?
But there needs to be less automatic first downs on defensive penalties.
I'm fine with that
because if it doesn't warrant a first down,
I would be fine with defensive holding to be a 5-yard penalty replay last down. Second down, 2nd and 10.
It's now 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5. Yes.
Wait.
Yes, it's 2nd and 5.
Defensive holding.
On defensive
Yes,
holding.
I had to
It's not
process
an
that.
automatic first down.
I had to process that.
You replay the down, but you gain the yards.
Yes. It's just like offsides. If the pass is incomplete or intercepted,
Correct.
they bring it back. So, yeah.
Exactly.
All right. I like what you're there. Okay. That I can get by. All right. Let's go to our picks for the week.
All right. You
All
want
right.
to start this one off?
Yeah. So, lock of the week.
Lock of the week. Who's going to win?
Eagles over Bears.
That was easy.
That's why it's a lock.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what. Eagles,
No. You're fine. You're fine.
Eagles cover. Is that better?
That's fine.
I'm
I'm going with Chiefs over Texans. I took the easier one.
Well, do you think the Chiefs will cover? It's a 14 spread.
14's a lot of points in the NFL.
Especially on the road.
Road.
At least it's inside.
I understand that. 14's a lot of points. I don't know if they would cover. If I was betting, I would not take the Chiefs in the
We got to make our bets for MGM.
We do.
Tonight, so.
We do. And that's fine, but I don't think I would. I think I'm going to take the Chiefs straight up,
Okay.
unless it's that big of a payout. So, dark horse of the week. Here's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to stop the 49ers. They've won 6 straight in a row. Okay. And in 2019, they celebrated clinching the division in Seattle. I don't think they're going to do it this time.
That's hilarious because that was talked about on the Colin Cowherd show today.
I don't listen to that.
That is funny as shit.
I don't listen to that. And here's the thing. 49ers are on their 3rd quarterback with Purdy. And he's hurt. He's hurt. No, he's hurt.
Everybody's hurt.
He's going to play,
Yes,
but
correct.
he's hurt.
Yeah.
All right.
I like where your head's at on that one.
Thank you.
I'm going Colts over Vikings this week.
What? Okay. I mean, I'm going to cheer for that, but
It's indoors.
Okay.
No, is the Vikings inside? I don't know if they're... Yeah, they're inside. They've got the 3rd worst defensive backfield in the football, according to...
Okay, well, that's irrelevant because we can't fucking throw the ball.
If we stop trying to throw the ball 30 yards downfield, yeah. But if we do in routes,
Correct.
slants, we're going to be good.
Yeah.
So that's... And it's a Saturday game.
Okay.
So it's a short week for the Vikings.
Okay.
Colts are coming off a bye.
Yep.
They're going to be a little bit more healthy, so that's my dark horse.
I like it.
Well, clearly we're doing the trivia because it's on our spreadsheet. I already did mine. What you got for yours?
Okay, 5 teams since the 1972 Dolphins have ended the season with only 1 loss. Only one of those 5 teams has lost the Super Bowl.
Well, that's just easy.
Who is it?
It's the Pats.
What year?
God, it's the year that they got... I think it wasn't the year that they got beat by... I want to say it was the year they got beat by the Philadelphia... No, it was when they... It was the second... No, it wasn't the Tyree catch. It was the other catch.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the year of the Tyree catch.
Wasn't?
No, it was 09, I think.
It was 07.
07? And
07.
that might have been the Tyree catch.
07.
But
the 09 Super Bowl was the one the Colts lost.
Oh, they got smashed.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I knew it was the Pats,
Mhm.
just because I'm a Tom Brady homer.
Yes.
I think, and then another reason I think I knew it was the Giants is because we were watching in Amanda's mom and dad's basement, and we had a big whiteboard because we put bets on the over number of Peyton Manning headshots they're going to show during the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you name any of the other 4 teams?
My guess would be the 49ers,
No.
Eagles.
Hang on, I'm looking. I don't believe so.
Bears.
The 85 Bears were 15-1.
I don't know the other ones.
The 82 Washington Redskins during the strike season
Okay.
finished 8-1.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, 12-1. Sorry, they were 12-1.
Okay.
Let's see. I feel like there was one. I'm missing one, aren't I? Sorry, I'm trying to look on the. I had a different page opened earlier today.
That's all good. That's a good one. That's very good. That's
Thank
a
you.
good trivia question.
Thank you. So, well, hey, folks, if you like what you see, you want to help us build our community, please hit that like button, smash the bell, smash the subscribe button.
I wish we had a bell on the desk.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding. That would be awesome because we really appreciate it. We appreciate every one of you that takes the time to listen to us just BS with one another. So that's just gonna wrap it up for another show.
I'll tell you what. Before we wrap up the show,
All right,
Bourbon County,
Bourbon County.
good stuff, man.
Oh, it's fantastic. Cheers, baby.
Thanks for flying with us.